What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 18 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tzarina Katarin Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we have confederated the Great Orthodoxy and have gained Prague, the last of the three great Kislevite cities. Unfortunately, by the looks of it, it either didn't keep its growth or was already at low growth when we took it. I don't know, but it'll take a while to grow to tier 5. But hey, capturing it at tier 4, confederating it at tier 4 is pretty darn good. We also got Kastalton himself, but between the episodes I decided to reset his skill points after all, because I was vacillating about it last episode. In addition to that, it was another battle-heavy episode, insofar as it's been a very battle-heavy campaign throughout the, well, campaign, and we fought all over the place. Archaons, some orcs, and up here to knock out Daniel for good, and another little fight at the Sarl encampment as well. Probably, possibly others, I don't know, but there's so many battles in this campaign that it's a little bit difficult to keep track. Anyway, I think we ended last episode off, if I'm remembering correctly, with pretty much everything done in terms of the moves that we would have to make. While we're here, though, I suppose that we could name a few more units. It's something I've been meaning to do for a couple of episodes now, and let's see. Where were the Zargard? Did we name both of you? Blades of the Tsar? No, we didn't name the second one, so let's name the second one as well. Since we have so few of them, it's easy to keep track of who's named. And not Cryo-Legionnaires for these Ice Guard and or Zargard, and if we end up transferring them, i.e. if Boris Ursus comes back, and we replace all this with Ice Guard, then, well, we'll take him out. Though we'll see. I like to see how much more Boris buffs them as compared to the Golden Knight. I mean, Boris buffs Bearcat, but I feel like he also, as far as I recall, buffs Zargard. Man, imagine the buffs from the Zargard from Boris in combination with those of the Golden Knight. Would be pretty crazy if he does buff them indeed. Anyway, in addition to that, there was like a dozen variations, maybe not a dozen, but a lot of name variations on this. We're just gonna name these guys Step Bros. They're close to several of the suggestions, and I'm sure it echoes at least one of them. And we've got a few little Grom names. Let's name at least one little Grom. If I can remember where the little Grom is. No, not you. You have the other units. You have the Groms. Alright, and you can be, how about Wojtek's Pride? There we go. We'll also need to rename these dwarfen cannons to something Kislevite as well. And frankly, we have a lot of armored Kossars, and soon, with Kastalton, since we're going shooty for him, a bunch of Streltsy that we'll have to name as well. But anyway, good enough for now. Let's get going. I think we are ready to end the turn, unless I'm mistaken. And if I am, that's just too bad. No trade agreements, no alliances, at least none that we want at the current time, though that may change in the near future. Skip, and turn. Alright, let's see if anybody can attack us anywhere, and alright, Epidemius was going to attack this anyway. He can take the Volcano's Heart, but we're coming back to attack him. Now, I couldn't quite tell, was that a pile of regular Plague Bearers, or was it Exalted Plague Bearers? If it was all Exalteds, it's going to take a little bit of effort to bring that army down, especially with the army that we currently have up north. Grimgor wants peace after losing all those Black Orcs to our attack, but that's his problem. And we're going to capture a bunch of his territories based off of that. We are drawing closer to Goldtooth now, who are very high in strength rank on the map, as I recall. So that certainly got a potential issue. Ooh, Kislevite Kossar. Yes, very nice. We had an extra one that we wanted to put on somebody. Now, if only I could remember who. I think it was you, right? Yeah, you have the Knights Commander and the Akshina Informant, but you do not have... not the Knight Squire, Kislevite Kossar. There we go, now every single one of our current lords has one. Beautiful. And, well, that's a shame. I wasn't going to send Tzarina Katarin down here to deal this, also she can't quite reach this. I mean, it's a small enough army, in theory, and we should be able to kill it with these two and then have them move to Stormwrack Mount while we keep moving Tzarina Katarin up north to take the Monolith of Bubonicus. Looks like we would be able to reach it. What about if we go into encamp? I don't know.
We must take shelter.
In encamp, by the looks of it, we wouldn't, but 650%. We could still move fairly far. I'm going to risk encamping. Oh, no, you know what? We can heal up at the Monolith of Bubonicus. Screw it. I'm sure we'll be able to defeat whatever's here. I'd rather take a little bit of attrition, or actually not heal, rather, because Tzarina Katarin's actually immune to attrition, and make sure that we get the Monolith of Bubonicus next turn. This guarantees it, at the least. And then after it, we can grab the Monolith of Festerlung and then loop back around to the Warhost of the Apocalypse's writhing fortress capital. They have 4 territories, unless I'm mistaken. Oh, they really want peace, eh? Willing to give us plenty of money. If this was earlier in the campaign, I would, of course, take this, because it's a solid amount. But right now, we are going to fry those big fish. Anyway. Hopefully this guy doesn't set sail. Is there any way we could bait him into attacking Tribe Slaughter? It doesn't have much in the way of defenses. These guys are hurt as well. Wait, if you go into encamp stance now, one of you is going to have to suffer attrition. No doubt about it. Alright, I think we're going to move you here, and then we'll move Medora and Sinov into Tribe Slaughter like this, and we'll see how Bastion Nightbane reacts. I think what we'll also... Okay, you're supposed to go in here. I think what we'll also do is, since this is going to be a Zargard army anyway, we'll get the Daj's Hearthblades in here. A little bit expensive, or a lot of expensive. A lot more than I'd like anyway. But they'll act as ringers should we need them to fight this army, and then we'll see. Oh, you could go into regular stance. Good. Good for the fight. And yeah, you'll both hopefully be fine. You have no mana, so you'll have to kill this army the old-fashioned way. And mostly you have very basic troops, but with the Daj's Hearthblades, hopefully, it should be sufficient. The only possible issue might be is if there's another army here that could besiege Tribe Slaughter and then attack this guy and destroy his army outside here, but I don't see one. And I don't think convoys can attack us directly, at least not that I'm aware, so hopefully that'll work. Anyway, Vladimir Mikheyev, I'd love to send you down to the Monolith, but I think we're going to send you around to the Crystal Spire anyway. It would take a couple of turns for Epidemius to get here, but he'd be able to take this with great ease. Not that we really care about the settlement, mind you, but we do care about destroying his army. That we care about very much. I would actually love to avoid having to go all the way over here to the Monolith of Festerlung. Maybe we sacrifice the Crystal Spires for this. Yeah, sure, he'll take it at tier 1, but maybe it's worth our time. Alright, go to as far as you can and then still enter in camp stance. We're gonna risk it. Risky to get the bisky once again. And Archie, nah. I was hoping Archaon would be back up and thereby get the defeat trait on this guy as well. Just get Archaon's defeat trait on everybody. But anyway, Victor Zemvin, you... Oh, I had another idea. Hopefully it won't not work anymore. Spirit Haunted, Grief Stricken, Spirit Caller. Yeah, this is the idea I had. Maybe we'll want to get, while we have the Prophet, a couple more of these Hag Witches on the field, and just to get them a little bit more levels. Frankly, I wanted to do it last turn, because I like the fact that there are 2 Spirit Callers here, with Bound Flocks of Doom, Bleed Effects, and the Spirit Leeches. It's not slow down for this army, so it's not quite what we want, but it would be a decent amount of damage with the Bleed application, in combination with the Skirmishing Kosovoid Archer. So it might not be the worst thing in the world. Forbidden Citadel. Oh, you actually have decent defenders. We're actually going to have to fight this. Okay. Well, we'll fight that in a bit. We'll still get those heroes, but we'll get them up and running here. I assume that we can leave Igor Talichev's army to handle this, although I'm also thinking... Wait, we wanted to build a Silent Grove here so that we could start building the Akshina ambushers. I suppose we could just get another lord up and running to do that. Let's get the merchant traders here. We will upgrade the taverns here. I think for now at the Bay of Blades we'll need the defenses, mostly because Wulfric is around. And frankly, it might be a good idea to get a Patriarch, for example. Where's the nearest Patriarch recruitment facility? Fairly far at Zavastra. Alright, here's what we'll do. We'll delete this guy after. I just want him on the field right now. Wait, campaign... No. Hero self-defense chance. Either one's fine, I think. Yeah, alright, so you're gonna go here, and we're going to use this guy as a scout. Just park him right here. I want to keep an eye on the Fekendites, and I want to keep an eye on the Norskins as well. Then, we will want to get the Shrewd Advisor, but I suppose we could wait until Castalton comes back up. Alright, so what we'll do is this. You're gonna go here. I guess into Prague. It doesn't really matter whether you're directly in Prague or not. Go here like this, and we will transfer to you this, and not this. Like so. These guys, at least the one Akshina Ambusher and some of the Kossars, we're going to start ferrying over here. Might actually be faster to go this way if we send this guy down like this. And then we'll transfer them over to the other army. I take it you have nothing that'll allow you to move faster, but that's fine. You don't have one of the Steppe Shepherds? No, I gave them all to you. So you are going to start recruiting. Now we have 2 Streltsy, 1 with Bardishas, and I believe, assuming that we give this army, we have 2 Bardishas here. And 1 here. So let's do 2 more Bardishas. I would like to get 2 Frostworms for the Hag army. I would like 2 heavy war sleds, 2 little Groms, and 2 light war sleds as well. But I guess, well, you know what? Let's recruit the Frostworms afterwards because they're expensive. Let's do that. And then start with the Streltsy, and then move on to the 2 light war sleds, and I guess more Streltsy as well. Okay, these are the Bardish types. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we need 1, 2 more regular Streltsy, and then 2 Frostworms. And I'm probably forgetting something. Decent likelihood at any rate, but I don't know what it might be. Oh, right, the Episcop Rebellion. Episcop Battalion is going to go in here as well, plus of course the Patriarchs. Yeah, that'll work. And we can start building more Bear Riders soon, hopefully for Boris Ursus, but we shall see. Alright, well, there goes all of our money, but that's why we were saving the money, or at least it was one of the reasons. Now, Victor Zamvin. 2 things. I would like you to hit Karak. I would like Urogny to hit the Eagle Ares. What do we have at the Eagle Ares, by the way, in terms of defenses? Ooh, they've got some decent stuff. Can Urogny's relatively limited army handle that, is the real question. Alright, I'm gonna hope that I don't screw this up. You are gonna take the cannons, and you're going to trade 2 of the Kossars, like so. Can you still reach Vrag? Yes. Alright, so you will strike at Vrag from here. Yes. You, Beledna, are going to transfer the extra forces to Urogny Zinoviev, and you're gonna help him out with a few casts, because he doesn't have magic at this current time. Though we will, of course, give him a caster later. Once again, I was banking on it being Ulrika, but I guess somebody else took her or whatever. I don't know. But I don't care enough to find out, so we'll just get... Maybe we'll get a... We could get a Hag Witch of Shadows, which would take Ulrika's place, I suppose, in the sense that also Shadow Lore. And it would power up these fighters with Occam's Mind Razor, certainly a decent option. Alternatively, we could... Well, we have plenty of healing with the 2 Patriarchs. We don't need another Hag Lore, I think. Yeah. And we could build a Hag Witch right here as well immediately after taking it. And we do have Nature Spirit Affinity with the Casualty Replenishment. Ability, Feral Rage. Enemy characters... I wish I knew what this actually did, but I don't. And removes immunity to psychology. That's actually also an interesting idea. Make everybody fear Godric and Urogny, though don't give them terror, though I suppose we could give like a terrifying Mask of E to some of these guys. Huh. The Warbears only cause fear and not terror? I don't know, I'd be pretty terrified of a Warbear, but that's just me. Oh, whatever. Ooh, we also have an Ataman question. What do we have here? Pragmatic Defender versus Recruiter. Upkeep, production, and recruitment cost. Gonna have to go with Recruiter. Show Pioneering Spirit. Good. Then, you know what? While we're taking a look at the Atamans, before we fight, we have the Reducer guy here, right? Yeah. Wait. I always forget which symbol it is. Yeah, Master Builder. Okay. You can build up the Sarl encampment at the same time. And you can immediately start on the market square. Sarl encampment will hopefully be safe, or at the very least, we'll be by and large ignoring it. Then we can immediately transfer you to wherever we need to build up the most stuff next turn. Fortress Strask is a decent option, but probably not for this turn. We've got Eastern Oblast, not ready for it yet. What about Gormadny Mountains? We got one of these to build. We got something to build here as well. I like more money out of the farm estate, though I guess this is another place that needs the Manor of the Ice Queen as well, so we can hold off on that. There's got to be another place. Oh, right, I was going to send you down here to upgrade all of these, and I think for Dorjny Vort as well. Yeah, maybe this is the way to do it. Alright, we'll send you down here to Zorno's School then. You, sir? Recruitment for infantry. Oh, that would help recruit the new guys. The Akshina ambushers. But oh well, not a big deal. And oh, you also have recruitment cost reduction for all units in this province. But it's not like we're recruiting this turn, and we wouldn't be able to this turn anyway because we have to wait too. So yeah, maybe we'll send them back there. But for now, go to Zorno's School. Alright, and we'll lose a little bit of money because you won't be able to get as much cash for us there. Next, let's do a fight, shall we? Igor Telichev, let's take the Forbidden Citadel.
The Wrath of Kislev.
And it won't have walls, but it will be a minor settlement. And Festering Pool. Vortex, large expanding effect does not affect friendly units. Oh, that's concerning. That's very concerning indeed. And especially for the piles of Kossars, which are going to be critical to this particular battle. Is there anything that we can do to help you? We could pop you into Motherland stance, but it doesn't do anything, does it? Well, it does give us additional constant casualty or punishment, right? So the damage that we take will be reduced, I guess. It's better than no stance. Go for it. Attack.
By bullet, by spear, or by axe. No matter your weapon, use it well, for failure does not warrant second chances.
Interesting that the Druzyna talks about bullets when he has a bow, although I suppose he mentioned a spear as well. Axe is the only thing you have, sir, of other things that you mentioned. Anyway, here we go. It's probably one of the last fights for this army in its current composition as the retrofits are coming, so we may as well enjoy it while it lasts in this form. And, well, it's not just the retrofits, I suppose, but also the Ungol Steppe Archers, or the Kossovite archers that are going to be upgraded with their fletchings, or the different kind of ammunition. Once we finally reach level 12, the enemy drops their bound army ability on us, taking about half HP off of our units of Kossars, or at least one of the units of Kossars, who have turned to focus down some Hounds of Pestilence, or these Hounds of Decay, while they attempt to chase down our archers, but are too slow to do so. I'm going to move on in with our Druzyna just to get as close to the enemy as possible, and then activate that Tormentor Sword, which lasts a good 30 seconds, so these guys will be pincushioned a little bit while they do. We don't really care about the Nurglings so much, as they wouldn't win in a battle against our Kossars in melee, but the Plague Bearers are certainly going to have to be the main targets. Oh, and it looks like Hounds of Decay are back in action, or we got more Hounds of Decay rather, and some Plague Toads moving in as well. We're going to stop the Plague Toads in their place with a Pack Trap from the Akshina ambushers, and then try to focus them down as best we can so that they don't dish out as much damage. The other Pack Trap, the other netting, whatever, is going to go on the enemy Plague Drones here, who are taking decent bits of damage, losing quickly the 30% of their HP under fire from the Kossars and the Kossovite archers as well, with their anti-large arrows. At least against these units, we wouldn't have wanted to switch to anti-infantry fletchings anyway. Here come the Plague Drones. Are going to touch down on our Regiment of Renown Akshina Ambushers, who are going to do their best to hold both them and the Plague Toads and Bearers back. The Akshina Ambushers have solid melee defense at 57 and have that main ability on them as well, so they'll be doing a little bit of additional damage to the enemy over time. And the enemy has to have fairly decent melee attack to get through their melee defense. Fortunately for us, a lot of Nurgle units are very high on melee defense and relatively low on melee attack, especially the more basic variants. So these guys should be pretty okay at holding. These aren't Exalted Plague Bearers after all. Alright, Akshina Ambushers continue to hold the hill against all of their monstrous foes. The Plague Toads, Plague Drones, and Nurglings are working together here. And with some doggos who have managed to make their way through from the flanks. More Plague Bearers are coming in as well, and it looks like the unit of Cossars that was originally hit by the enemy's army bound ability, which coincidentally is back up, is just about ready to rat. Our Druzhina has also taken some damage, down to about half of his HP. Do have to be careful with those guys, as they're fairly fragile in melee. Certainly aren't going to last nearly as long as a Boyar is, so we gotta use their range a little bit more and be ready to back them off. But he does have that Tormentor Sword, so he does like to join the fray in a little bit. And especially while the Tormentor Sword is up, the enemy's melee attack is sufficiently low that it shouldn't be as threatening. Anyway, Plague Bearers still left to destroy. Our Horse Archers are still taking shots into the enemy's backs, and here is where that anti-infantry arrow fire would have been quite useful. Not to worry though, because we got arrow fire for days as the other Cossars turn to start focusing down the Plague Bearers on this side. And the Akshina Ambushers back off and start firing into them as well. Tormentor Sword comes down and the Plague Ridden has joined the fray, and we'll hopefully be able to focus it down together with the Plague Bearers that it leads relatively soon. Down to about 60% of its HP, the Plague Bearers, 2 of them at least, are melting away, and another one will be targeted after these are gone. Looks like the Plague Toads, Nurglings, and Hounds of Decay are gone as well over on this side. And was that the Plague Ridden that dropped? No, it's still chasing us, but it is melting away, and I do believe the chain route is here. A few more seconds, and the Nurglite force will be banished. Lovely, and some great action shots of the Akshina Ambushers here. And though we'll be getting plenty more of these guys as we go. And they do hit quite a bit harder than the Cossars, 48 missile strength on them compared to the 25. And they stagger shot and have a bit of more armor piercing. Though we could use more armor piercing, and that's probably why we'll need at least a couple of units of Ice Guard in this army. And just in case for a sort of more elite enemies in the future. Plus the combination of the slowing the enemy down with the stagger shot and the frostbite. Anyway. Alright, a little bit of damage, but hardly surprising. This army has no casters as yet, and still needs that rank 12 up to upgrade both the Akshina Ambushers and the Step Bros and the other Kossovite Archers. And of course, the regular Kossars need to be replaced with Akshina Ambushers, Ice Guard, and whatnot. Plus, we're at 17 out of 20 in terms of the numbers here. We're going to occupy the Forbidden Citadel for ourselves. No plague here, luckily, and more importantly, most importantly, an iron mining pit, which is an upkeep reduction faction-wide. We're going to not have the Orthodoxy Chapel here. You know what? We'll keep it for now because of the Nurglite corruption in the province. We could certainly use that to bring it down, but then afterwards we'll replace it. Now, for those witches, Hagwitch, we'll pop both of you Spirit Callers into this army, and that should certainly make it a little bit more effective against the Nurglites, and the Spirit Caller's bleed effect reduces incoming healing as well. Not by too much, mind you, but hopefully by enough. Spirit Caller. Alright. Once again, I really wish the Hag Witches weren't twice as expensive as Ice Witches or Ice Maidens. Frost Maidens? Frost Maidens are. Every time. I don't know what's up with me in that particular unit. I'm also thinking that perhaps the Akshina Ambusher army could use a couple of little Groms, mostly just to force the enemy army to come to us. Granted, we have the artillery, or not artillery, we have the Step Archers there, but nonetheless. Let's build a couple of little Groms before the 2 regular Streltsy. Like so, simply because these guys take 2 turns, so it's a little bit longer. And we'll figure out what else we need to build. Well, you know what, get back the 1 War Sled. You know what, get the War Sled back later. Next turn, since this has to go anyway. Alright. Gotta get those armies up and running. And we'll give more Acolytes of Ursun to the guy that buffs them in addition to the Zargard, Mr. Amador Nasinov. With that Kreml officer in combination with the Zargard, all depending on how many buffs we get out of Mr. Boris Ursus. Patriarch here has a level, let's get you... Wait. I'm gonna go with Sally Axel. But actually, you know what? Go for Towards Battle Hymn cooldown, I guess. Perhaps the more important pick. Next up, Mother of Stankia. Do we have your Mordheim Beowulfs as yet? No, not yet, but we will relatively shortly. Good. And we will send you up to Nalfari Plain. I guess. I'm just going to assume that we can take care of everything here. Also, once again, double check, triple check. Spirit Caller, Grief-Stricken, no, it's Nature Spirit Affinity we need, and thus what we'll keep moving towards. Also to double check, do we get the increase of Hag Witches from level 2 or tier 1? No, level 2. Okay, gonna keep that in mind. We're gonna have to keep that in mind as well. And we'll need to build a few more of these things, just because with the limits on the Frost Maidens, we need casters, and, well, the Hag Witches are the only option. Let's see, you are going to, once again, steal tech from the Bleakhold Fortress, or whatever. 39, it's about 40, 39, don't die. Just reach rank 20, success, good, a few more of those. Of course, she starts infinitely succeeding once she becomes Beledna the Failure, just to make me look like a fool, Anyway, do believe what we have left is sieges. We have 2 here, both of them Orky in variety, plus a little bit of admin in the form of building. Heatan wants to trade again, or nearly so. Maybe you shouldn't break agreements, Heatan. Tyrion? What do you want? Okay, kill the Conclave, or kill the... No, Conclave, the Convoy, or rather, and you want us to kill Wulfric. This is great, but we have 3 turns of this, and I'd rather use this to keep an eye on Wulfric rather than necessarily to take the mission. We will take the mission, don't get me wrong, but we'll give it a turn or 2. Now, how many turns of leeway do we have before we redeclare war? Okay, so 8 turns. 8 turns before Tamarkan attacks us again. No doubt about it. Just like it took exactly 10 turns for Epidemius to attack us, it'll take 10 turns for Tamarkan to attack us, because he don't like us very much. Now, these guys are still fighting, but I noticed that there's been no exchange of territories, because by the looks of it, Epidemius is going for us and ignoring Malice, despite what I thought was a fairly clever move in forcing them to attack each other. We could probably easily peace out with the World Walkers should we desire to do so, but it's kind of inevitable that we get into a fight with them, and Norska's a lot of great territory, so, well, at least great for us. I don't see why we wouldn't take it. We do have to watch out for the Fecondites as well, though fortunately, I'm now wondering, perhaps we should start taking their territory, knocking them out with the Streltsy army. Though Mother of Stankia's force would be much better at it, because the massive amount of anti-healing power modifiers that we have on the stuff in this particular army. Minus 100%, plus minus 25%, another 10% from the bleed, more from whatever else, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. But anyway, which do we want to attack first? Well, that was is this a minor settlement? Yeah, it's a minor settlement. Okay, so we did field battle. Let's do minor settlement battle next, and then we'll do the walled battle afterwards. You, retinue valet. And let's fight. Wait, are you in march stance? You are, but you can't leave march stance, so it won't change anyway. Go.
Your children will grow old and fat thanks to your bravery this day.
Alrighty, here we go, and let's see if Eurogny's army can handle itself by itself, as in without the other army needing to reinforce. Of course, Eurogny and his command squad would be able to handle themselves no problem, I'm sure, but let's see how effective the Acolytes of Ursun are gonna be. Anyway, as usual, Eurogny will lead the charge, followed by his two patriarchs, and soon Gotrek and Felix as well, who are bringing up the rear. And at least Gotrek should appreciate the presence of the Acolytes of Ursun as well, frenzied damage dealers as they are, and relatively close to Slayers in their nature, considering especially that they're anti-large glass cannons. Though they are not unbreakable, at least they have the combination of Frenzy and Berserk, and besides, all Kislev units have the Buy Our Blood ability, and are thus able to go unbreakable at least for a little while. Alright, and the Acolytes of Ursun have made their way in, and I imagine that against Boar Boys is something that they would excel at. And the anti-large, plus the fact that the Boar Boys are relatively fragile, means the twin axes of all of these Acolytes of Ursun will bring them down reasonably quick. Not to worry though, the enemy has plenty more boys where that came from, some biggins marching on in. I do believe this because the enemy has a defensive building here. They were able to summon Orc biggins on the field as well. Anyway, Felix holding or leading the Acolytes of Ursun, while Gotrek, Eurogny, and the two Patriarchs are all the way out front. Massive pile of corpses around Eurogny here. Alright, gotta love a target-rich environment. Tactically, though, there's not much to say about this particular battle. Once again, it's a good old-fashioned brawl and a little bit of a test of our Acolytes of Ursun's prowess. Overhead, we can see the arrows coming down. Specifically, they are focusing down an enemy Error Boy unit, as we certainly don't want the Error Boys targeting our Acolytes of Ursun, despite their fairly large physical resistance. They've still got very low armor, and even with 40% physical resistance, they're going to be quite fragile. Well, max is out at 40%. It's at 24 now, but it'll get higher up there as we spend more time in melee. Beledna the Defender has arrived, and the Hailstorm heralds her arrival on the field. She'll join the fray as well, but make sure to knock out a few of the enemy with a little bit of spell work. But the boys are still holding. Bounce power is in our favor now, but only just, and more enemies are arriving to plug the breach in the enemy. Well, I guess it's not really a breach, just plug the path, plug the choke point, whatever you want to call it. There's still 2 units of trolls out here, I see. More boar boys, decent amount of archers, and various other kinds of boys. So, the axes of the Acolytes are not going to go unblooded, let's say. Which is the case for 2 of the units of the Acolytes of Ursun, as only 2 of them are fighting right now because we can't get more in, and because of the choke point. Now that's alright though. Haven't had a chance to give these guys their due so much throughout the campaign as yet, and it's about time. Let me see them do decent amounts of work. And hopefully soon they'll be joined by Warbear Riders as well. Anyway, how we doing here? Enemies are still holding... I thought that this would have been impassable terrain here. Interesting. I thought they were coming out of from like from a building or something. But we're still good. Anyway, Eurogny's still acting as the tip of the spear for all the Acolytes to look towards. And damn, yeah, our own Khazars riddling our own units with arrows, but, well, what can you do here? Alright, here comes another spell from Beledna. She sends another hailstorm into the biggest blob of orc boys she can. Felix on the front lines as well, working together with that Patriarch, and you gotta remember that the Patriarchs are maintaining the periodic Salyax lullabies and Tor's battle hymns to keep the enemy low in melee attack, and our Acolytes of Ursun healed up. Speaking of the Acolytes, they're doing pretty well. 98 kills and 47 kills on these two out here, and they haven't lost really much units. 97 units remaining on both of them, which is pretty darn solid. I was certainly expecting them to lose higher numbers of troops at this point, but I guess the Salyax lullabies are keeping them in good shape. Alright, nearly through the enemy sort of wall of flesh here, just a little bit further, and we'll be able to send in the rest of the Acolytes to do a little bit of damage. In fact, we're preemptively going to move them closer in anticipation of being able to spread out through the enemy city. Also, I've once again lost Gotrek. I'm sure he's in here somewhere. Oh, there he is. But for some reason, can't quite put my finger on it, he's a little hard to spot. Alrighty, and it looks like he's trying to get towards specific enemies right now, and looks like more orc boys and trolls have arrived to attempt to block us up, but we should be able to work through them fairly quick. Dajasung, Winter Sunlight, Ursun's Roar, and Tor's Battle Hymn all activate at the same time, causing that redistribution of melee attack, lowering the enemies and raising ours, so that we can quickly, hopefully, work through these piles of enemy trolls. Irogny and Felix and Gotrek have all been targeted at the trolls. As, well, even, I'd actually be curious to see how the Acolytes of Ursun would fare directly in a 1v1 against the trolls here. Alright, Wait, someone's at my door, but I think I can leave this for like a minute. Well, hopefully it's not long. I'm gonna just ignore it. Alright, if I take too long, I'm just gonna make a cut or something. Oh, go figure. False alarm. When somebody knocks on the door of a neighbor, I guess the insulation in the walls is poor enough so that it kind of is sometimes hard to tell whether it's on your door or on the other door, but whatever. All good. Anyway, I think I arrived just on time as we just got through that pile of units there, and hopefully it all looked good on the screen while I wasn't able to control the camera. Anyway, back into the action once again. Not much to say about this particular battle, just the Acolytes of Ursun doing their thing, being put through a proper test of their combat capabilities. And I do think that the Biggins are a pretty solid test of their prowess as well. Anyway, as we've been hoping, we've been able to separate our Acolytes of Ursun out here. Our summoned Snow Leopard moving towards some Boar Boys just to distract them a little bit while the Acolytes fight on their own here. And on their own, I mean without support of the Patriarchs and Urogny and the other heroes. But still pretty effectively, I'd wager. even without. I can't wait to see how strong the Acolytes of Ursun will be once they're maxed out, both with full red line buffs as well as technologies, assuming technologies do affect them, and max veterancy as well. Ooh, it does look like some of the enemies do attempt to charge this second line of... I keep wanting to say Bearkin because of the named one, Acolytes of Ursun, but we're going to stop them by sending a Patriarch in to support, as well as Beledna the Defender to drop that Hailstorm down upon the enemy, dishing out decent damage to them and forcing at least one of the Orc boys to rout, while Radi Pojarski, our so far non-bear riding Patriarch, until he levels a little bit more, takes the brunt of the enemy damage. Looks like these guys are surrounded now, but I'm sure they're doing just fine ripping those boar boys apart. Getting a little bit of that heal from that Saliak's Lullaby as well, but still haven't lost too many units. So these guys weren't in the original sort of combat, so they won't have nearly as many kills and are liable, or not as liable to take a lot of damage either. Anyway, yet another Hailstorm from Beledna the Defender, dropping right in the middle of the Boar Boys and Orc Boys. The bounce power shifts to about, say, 85 to 90% in our favor, and we are now engaging the last of the enemy units that remain. Out here, the Acolytes of Ursun are down to 90 units left, and it looks like the Arrow Boys have in melee managed to kill 2 of them, which is decently impressive. And actually, I mean, they're Orc Arrow Boys, so they are decent melee combatants. I mean, those sidearms that the Orc Arrow Boys have look pretty darn decently effective. And frankly, training Orc boys to fire arrows inaccurately is still going to be less effective than having them just whack away at you with whatever weapon they have. Anyway, the Orc Arrow boys are down to, well, close to half HP, and another unit of Acolytes of Ursun are working on moving and hitting them in the back. It does look like these guys have lost another 6. Well done to the Arrow boys there. Though alas for them, they won't be in it for much longer. They're one of the last enemy units on the field, or at the very least, one of the last units that have a decent amount of HP, and now surrounded by units of Acolytes from both sides, they will quickly be ripped apart. Though certainly a very brave last stand for this particular unit, or at the very least impressive. Alright, and the immunity to psychology and the wise is working for them, but they will finally break. Another unit has come back over on this side, but these units of Acolytes are just fine, and now Uragni, Beledna, and the rest of the heroes are acting as the tip of the spear once more, and we don't have to worry about the Acolytes taking damage. Mounts of power is at about 90%. The enemy Lord is moving into play as well, and looks like one last unit of Boar Boys charging in, and by the looks of it, the last enemy units on the field for real this time. And I don't know what these Orc Arrow boys doing. Yeah, the AI has a tendency to sort of make use of platforms and then just ignore what happens. They're like, okay, now we built this platform, we're going to stay on this platform, we're not going to react to anything. This is the way we're facing. Screw all y'all. But anyway, I guess that's the AI's problem. Boar Boys have charged in, and the Acolytes of Ursun have countercharged. Probably going to take a little bit in the way of damage, dropping down to 82 units, but keeping on racking up those kills and damage. The Boar Boys are out, having taken, well, a little bit of damage, but enough for the rest of the enemy army to rout, and for the battle to be ours. Ooh, a Razor Standard, very nice pickup for the Acolytes of Ursun in particular, who did very, very well. Who needs a full stack to take a settlement when you've got your Ogni's command squad, plus the Acolytes? Bearkin, I believe, are the only named Acolytes so far, so they'll get the Razor Standard there. If we can get a Lichbone Pennant, they'd be, it would be great on these guys as well. I know we have one, but, well, I would like another. Also, ooh, looks like Gotrek just managed to outkill your Ogni, just barely by 8 units this time around, though admittedly, we've been getting points into Gotrek's fighty tree, and Urogny is gonna be a while before we start beefing up his personal fighting capabilities, as he is going to buff up his army instead. And let's face it, he doesn't need the buffs as much as his troops do, though. I hadn't quite decided what I was going to do with regards to his eventual army. I was thinking about giving him some bears, war bear riders, but it does depend. I mean, I suppose we could give him war bear riders regardless. That might be the decent thing to do. It's just that we don't have them in here right now, and therefore maybe we can get him some fighty stuff, namely Hard to Hit and Deadly Blade would be the important ones. And the other option would be to try to move into Quartermaster and reduce the upkeep here. Ooh, but the Acolytes will reach rank 7 fairly quickly, and we'd be able to get Ursun's favored for them, buffing them up fairly significantly with additional armor and melee defense. I do like that. Alright, fine. Let's go through Creatures of the Land, because more likely than not we'll get Urogny a couple Warbear Riders. Although I guess we could get him Griffin Legion as well. Nah, but Urogny should have bears. We'll get somebody else Griffin Legion. Creatures of the Land for you, sir. Alright, good. And yeah, how about Gotrek? Alright, so he has on the offensive buffs, plus 20%, or 10% when attacking, plus 4% when attacking for the army. I do like the magic item drop chance, that's certainly going to be helpful. We could get him, let's get Elf Slayer, just to make sure that he has a little bit of everything. Oh, actually, no, I lied. Let's get you Rune of Grimnir, mostly because of the unit mass increase, allowing him to more easily move through formations of enemies. And Grandmaster, we don't really care about. Characters or a leadership effect, meh. Out of all of this, I'm inclined to say hard to hit is probably more important, but I guess we could make you hit harder, so let's get you for... Oh, wait. We could get you Dragon Slayer, which will certainly make you hit harder. There we go. And we gotta get them some items, but they do have Dawn Stones. I mean, Dawn Stones give them 15% physical resistance on top of whatever other they already have. Gotrek's up to 50, and then Guardian puts him up to 65 physical resistance, which is pretty solid for Gotrek at any rate. Alright, well, you guys have taken the Eagle Ares. We have churches here. Let's go for the Exotic Animal Tamer. Most likely we'll delete these in favor of farmlands, as this is going to be a pretty darn rich territory. In fact, with the gem mine, this might be one of our biggest money-making territories. We could keep the church here in Eagle Ares, I guess, but in Gorger Rock we'd probably want to build a farm. That would make more sense to me, but we could also hold off on recruiting additional patriarchs, as we will have the +4 recruitment capabilities that we will get once Mr. Orthodoxy is back up and running, Castalton. Anyway, siege equipment available, let's hear. We got Black Orcs and Biggins on the defensive. Damn, the Hammer of Gork. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Is this going to desync? You do have a defensive wall, so it may very well desync. I would say it's likely to desync, but, well, we shall see. We shall see. For now, I guess there's nothing else to do but to fight. I don't believe we have anything else that we need to build critically right now. I guess we could build the Hallowed Wood here. It's fairly cheap, just to increase the farm income. But once again, not the most critical construction. Carrick Vlag, you're waiting on additional devotion in order to build the unique building here, and I moved the Ataman not here but to Zorn's Cool. I guess we could get these things up and running, and the first of the towns. Still expensive, but once again, the guy can't be everywhere. Let's get the stud farm up to the next tier, but then we will wait to upgrade all of this stuff at the same time. When the reducer comes here, the Blasted Wastes are fine. For Dostrovsk, you need the Palace of the, or Manor of the Ice Queen, whatever it's called. But we need devotion for that. Sjoktraken. While we would reduce the harbor, maybe we should build it up right now. Fine. More money. And, well, we can build the farm estate here. I mean, basically we want the interior Kislev territories to be generating as much money as possible, and more likely exterior territories, or sort of at the outskirts of our empire, where there won't be as many adjacency bonuses, which is where we want to have the churches. Shrines, chapels, churches, whatever. Ignore it for now. Ignore it for now. Ooh, don't ignore this though. Erengrad, tribal bivouac, yes please. And once again, it'll be a while before you grow to where you need to, but that's okay. Awaken the land is fine here, reducing the construction time, and the rest of you are good, which I believe means we're ready to go for another fight. Yeah. Let's take care of Grag. No more Black Orc buildings. Go. Alrighty, well, Yarogni's army has separated itself and done its own thing now, and Victor Adzamvin's has as well. They'll both have to work on their own from now on. And unfortunately, though, the battle for this guy is going to have to be manual, as it is one of those bugged, desynced sieges this time around. It seems to happen, as we know, from the health of the towers and walls and whatnot not being the exact same between the replay and the actual time you, well, play. And yeah, that's what happened here. It has to do with the defensive structure built in the enemy settlement. And next time I guess that there's a defensive structure in enemy settlement, I'll try to avoid taking the battle in a siege as opposed to having it be a field battle. But I just don't think these guys would have fought us in a field battle, so not much of a choice in the matter. Anyway, we'll do this manually. Once in a while is alright. I think this is the first major desync in this entire campaign, which is pretty good. I mean, it's been a while. Anyway, to start off, we're going to speed it up and we're going to bombard those towers down between our two dwarfen cannons and our two little Groms. The towers should fall pretty darn quickly. Biggest threat on the field is the various units of Black Orcs with those great axes of theirs in the enemy settlement, as well as that rock lobber. Okay, I can't spell. Okay, there it is. It's all the way back there. The Hammer of Gork. Definitely going to have to watch out for that thing. But for now, let's knock out those towers and then start breaching those walls. If we open up about 3 breaches, we can send in a ton of Kossars at roughly the same time. And I'm wondering whether we should do a little... Wait, how much ammo does this recover? 30%. Okay, these guys haven't used anywhere near 30% ammunition. I suppose it's hard to say whether they will continue firing and bombarding the enemy's settlement once the breaches have been made, but we'll see. In the meantime, we can probably move up the rest of the army, not in range of the Goblobber, I think, but let's say closer, at the very least. And if we have to send Zamvin back to recover the ammunition on the artillery, then we'll do so. I do imagine the enemy artillery will react to us. There it is. It's starting to move in the background. Breach 2 has been made. There we go. And let's switch targets to make Breach 3. And not select you. I should probably put you guys in a group, group 5, because I don't know how many groups I'm going to make out of the rest of these guys. How's that enemy artillery piece? Drawing closer, and in fact, wait. Okay, well, the breach is almost made. Once it's down, which should be now, we can move closer, and hopefully close enough to fire upon the... Oh, damn, I forgot the other little Grom. Oh, why are you all the way out here? It's actually not a bad thing. Alright, and I don't know who you're firing on, but you're all gonna fire upon that Goblobber now, or Rock Lobber, whatever. And the rest of you are gonna start closing the distance. There we go, they're firing where they're supposed to. Let's see how long it takes them to bring this thing down. Hopefully we'll knock out individual artillery pieces rather than just breaking apart the crew. Those big old projectiles from the little Groms are good at destroying the crew because they sort of leave a kind of furrow in the ground like that, but not one of these 6 artillery pieces has fallen yet, and it looks like they are starting to draw a bead upon our closing units. You know what? I think we will have to recover some of the ammunition. Recover it on one of the little Groms first while the Cossars close the distance. I'd like you 3 armored Cossars to move right here, and you units of Watchmen in the Night, you're gonna move in second. And then I guess you, and you. Okay, yeah, you guys can go in the center like this. I just want to move everybody close enough so that they're... oh, maybe in the wrong place. So that they're out of range of the enemy rock lobber, who's down to half HP but still has 4 models in it. But we will deal. You, Cossars, get ready to move. You're going to start having a bit of a shootout with the enemy, though we can get a few arrows going as well. You are supposed to recover the ammo of, say, this little Grom. Huh? You're actually able to recover little Grom ammunition, are you not? Yeah, you are. Okay, I don't know why he canceled that, but I guess he really wanted to. Alright, how's that rock lobber doing? Down to 2 units now. You are starting to take damage. I don't know whether it was from the rock lobber or from something else, but whatever. All good. We're about to move on in anyway. Lords and Heroes going to start it up, and you guys just get close enough to fire upon the enemy. Rock lobber is still firing. Come on, with 4 artillery pieces. What would I give for a single rocket battery to obliterate these guys? And not waste so much ammunition in attempting to do so. But oh well, what can you do? We will overcome, adapt, overcome, etc. Alright, Victor Zanvin is in. Let's start moving in the armored Cossars. Frankly, they're probably wasting all their shots on the Black Orcs up here anyway. Did I not tell you to move here? Why are you ignoring me? Rude. Alright, go. Are these Black Orcs or just... nah, they're just biggins. I mean... not just biggins in the sense that there's still definitely going to be a threat to the regular Cossars, but that's just fine. Alright, finally the enemy artillery pieces out of action. We're going to put you all in guard mode, just tell you to stop firing, and then toggle fire at will right back on, and then they can target whatever they can reach out there. Now we'll want to send some Cossars up here, but that'll be in a little bit. Let's activate Tor's Battle Hymn. Okay, we're actually probably going to need to activate it twice. We'll do here as soon as these guys... well, we're probably okay right now. And this is a big old blob of units. We do have a Heart of Winter. What's our power at? Okay, basically we can activate it once, and I guess that this is the place to do it, so we're going to do it here. Are we able to... no, we're not able to summon the Guardian Call, and the reason for that is that this is one of the broken maps. There are several maps where it just plain doesn't work, unfortunately, but that's alright. Alright, Watchmen in the Night, you are going to have to move in next. And let's start sending you in, and let's start sending you in. Hopefully they don't attempt to climb. They should, in theory, walk through those gates, or breaches in the walls. Alright, Heart of Winter coming down. Let's hope that that does sufficient damage. I'd actually like to move you all the way out here. You guys spread out and activate that stand your ground in the middle of the blob, as these guys are going to, well, still have to deal with the Black Orcs, and that's a lot of powerful enemies. Alright, not much to do other than wait for the orcs to be whittled down a little bit, so here come the Watchmen in the Night to help in that, or at least over on this side. I don't know where the other ones are, and they're still trying to get through this breach, which is fine. Artillery aren't firing. I would like you to reposition yourselves maybe slightly. Try to get into a position where you might be able to fire upon the enemy. Are you really not able to fire on, like, these guys here? Try to fire on them. This one doesn't want to. Well, give it a try. Now they're all firing. Okay, yeah, sometimes the artillery just likes to refuse to do anything unless you directly tell it to fire, but it's alright. Alright, send in the Patriarchs, or the Clowns, as you prefer. We'll need to heal up over on this side once all of the main units make it on in. You guys are going to have to hold on the Error Boys. We got the Armored Cossars coming in. Let's get some of those regular Cossars in. And a few more armored Cossars as well. I want the regular Cossars firing down from the walls, and I really want that Orc Arab Boy unit gone, but can't do much about it now. Anyway, heal everybody up as soon as this other Patriarch gets here, and maybe you can back off. Not too worried about the damage, though. And you know what? This is probably a good use of the Frost Maiden's Kiss. A fairly big blob of enemies. Bounce. Nah, not quite a bounce. I wanted it to bounce off the corner of that, I don't know, little rock thing or whatever. But once again, all good. Alright, Cossars heading on in. Or first unit of Cossars, jump up on this wall. Second unit of Cossars. Actually, you have way more ammunition. Let's do you instead. Alright, you guys, Watchmen and Knights, should be able to rip apart those biggins and co. But let's send in these armored, or not armored, the great weapon Cossars to help out, as they do a little bit of armor-piercing damage. Now, you have plenty of ammunition, so we'll send you in next. And you're quite damaged, so we're going to have to be careful with you. Alright, the Air Boys will have no chance against these guys, so that's just fine. Artillery don't really have anything else to fire upon. Maybe get a little bit closer to that. I don't think they can fire on the Force Goblin Spider Riders. No, actually they can. They just refuse to, unless directly told to. Okay. Alright, how about you fire on this? You gotta watch out for them moving, as the game doesn't like to, the game rather does like to let them sort of move on in where they don't necessarily need to be. Alright, next unit of Cossars. Get ready to head up on those walls. Obviously this would have been much better for a cinematic, but, well, what can you do? I guess we'll just have to slowly but surely... Ooh, you know what we can do? We can recover ammunition on you, and you can fire into the blob there. There you go. Not a crazy amount of ammunition, mind you, but hopefully decent enough. Really could use that Guardian call. I'm almost tempted to send some units up on these walls, but whatever. Speaking of setting up on the walls, you guys are setting up right there. I'm gonna fire down on the enemy. You should be working those pistols. There we go, right into the sides. Let's be careful about knocking out the other units, though. And this is the regular Cossars. Okay, which unit? This unit is the most hurt, but it's not directly in the line of fire or directly in combat, so it should be just fine. I would like these guys to move on a little bit closer. I would also like to get another Saliak's Lullaby. We haven't really been using them, and just been saving them up, so that's fine. Out of ammunition on the artillery piece now. A bit of a shame, but what can you do? A little Grom, see if you can't target that Orc Boar Boys unit. And our range unit's still firing down, which is good. We have this unit, which is sleeping, or was sleeping for a few seconds. But let's send in the armored Cossars. The rest of the armored Cossars. You really want to go through this breach? I don't think so. Go through that breach. And you guys are probably too damaged, so just sit outside this gate. Probably gonna have to retreat these guys as well, lest they take too much damage. Do we need another Saliak's Lullaby activation? Yeah, maybe. I mean, these guys could use heals, and they're taking the most damage of the enemies so far. Let's watch a little bit more of the fighting. It looks like the Black Orcs and the Biggins and regular Orc Boys, by the looks of it, are very much in trouble. As long as we have Saliak's Lullaby like battles previous, we should be fine in terms of outlasting the enemy, and that includes the Black Orcs as long as they can't surround a single unit. We do want to knock out this Black Orc Big Boss, though, as he is most definitely a danger to our heroes. I would like you to go up here, if you can, because you have plenty of ammunition and you can fire down. I suppose you, while damaged, can actually do the same thing, if we can get you where we need you to go. I'd like you to move around here. Ooh, the Watchmen and the Knight have taken damage now, so let's swap them out a little bit. Swap you in. Who's still sleeping? You're sleeping. Alright, fine. You guys go here. You wasted all your ammunition. Well, not wasted, used. Let's pop you here and swap you out. You guys still have a little bit of ammunition, and you do as well. Alright, most hurt units just stand back here while the less hurt units fight. Could definitely send a Patriarch here, but while the Black Orc Big Boss and the, well, regular Black Orcs are here, we need to continue fighting in this area. And we can use one more Saliax. Then these guys will be overrun. We can go after the archers right behind them. It'd be nice if we had like a Sutsun's guns or something like that, an artillery piece that arcs overhead but also does not damage our own units. Anyway, it looks like the Black Orc Big Boss is routing out of there. He will probably return, but he's pretty darn badly damaged at this point. You, work your way up, let's say, here for now. Gonna swap you out later. How are these Cossars doing? Well, they're holding. Then we're gonna have to swap these guys in as soon as they run out of ammunition. Maybe get a few more units in there. Are these Biggins? Yeah, they're Biggins. Suffering a lot of armor-piercing damage. I'd like you guys to back off a little bit. And there we go. Everybody here rush the enemy archers while our heroes work on these Biggins. And I'd like you guys to move in like this to start using up that ammunition. You have ammunition as well, but you can rush forward in a melee. You're gonna run out of ammunition before long, but wait. I think we send Victor Zaman back to recover a few of the, or a bit of the ammunition on the regular Cossars, because they're doing pretty good up on top of that wall. Let's do this one just because it's already, you know, engaged, and it's not like it's not going to run out. Alright, you guys sit back, relax,
Defender of Kislev.
and watch our review. Alright, you guys go to the arrow boys, please, and I guess you will want to take a position up on this wall, because A, you're damaged, but B, you still have ammo to use. You guys activate melee mode, and we're gonna have to start breaking through that blocker. You guys will be moving in. You guys will be group 6 because you're too damaged to continue fighting. I mean, they're not really too damaged to continue fighting, it's just... Whoa, what the heck are you guys doing? Huh? Why are half of them up here and then half of them up on the wall? That was weird. But the walls have always been pretty janky, so hardly surprising. Alright, so these guys will have to work through the walls, and it'll be a little bit of a while. You guys back off a little bit so that you're not damaged any further. I would like you guys to sort of... Wait. The Watchmen and the Knight will be the main killers here. We can put you up on these walls, and then you guys up on the walls behind them, like so. If anybody decides to come down there while we work on the gate, you can be up here. Fire a little bit. Did I recover the ammunition? Yeah, but we are basically out of ammunition now. A little bit more work to do on that gate. And we got a little bit of ammunition on some of our artillery pieces, so damn me if I know what to fire on. Try going after those boar boys back there. See if you can manage to do anything about that. I'm going to speed this up a little bit while we work on the barricade, though. It does take a little bit longer to do this kind of siege, and... Huh, artillery pieces were firing down here? I mean, okay, sure. Hopefully any stray shots went and hit the barricade. I don't want to have the heroes bothering to... Or not the heroes, the regular units bothering to waste their ammunition and such on the barricade. Then you just sit back. Anybody who tries to come through it will be ripped apart by gun and arrow fire. Speaking of arrow fire, you have one last little bit of arrows to add to this unit of Cossars. These guys are out now. Start moving forward. And getting ready to fight. These guys have decided not to move in over here, but they are sort of hanging around with a pretty big blob in the sort of center of the enemy settlement. How's that barricade looking? Alright, fine. Just move in. You're taking too long. Oh, well. Okay, you're too damaged to fight. You are actually pretty good for fighting. It's just that, well, you've got a pretty good position up here to fire down upon anybody with missiles. And speed it back up a little bit as this barricade will drop. Any second now. I feel that these Orc Air Boys will drop before they do. The single use of the ammo reload is actually pretty useful. We may want to consider getting a couple of war wagons in a couple of armies just for that purpose as well. As we can see in some of these armies, we're fairly light on ammunition. It's pretty critical that, well, we have such ammunition. Alright, you guys move on in. We will be out of support range of the range units shortly. Well, go after these big ones here. And is that a unit of Orc Air Boys? Yeah, you give chase to them, Alright, and I guess we're gonna have to move this unit of great weapons down since it's the healthiest Cossar unit remaining. Regardless of the fact that they can't really fire. We're not gonna use the regular unarmored Cossars to fight... Huh, are these guys on a platform? Oh, there's a barricade and a platform here. Alright, ignore it for now, go after the... go after these guys. We'll towards battle him them. Okay. Be manually told. Speed it up a little bit while they close the distance. Enter arrow fire, mind you, but once these big uns have been destroyed, we'll be good. Then we'll charge on in with the Watchermen in the night, or is it Watchers in the night? It is Watchmen in the night. And you guys are kind of milling around because walls are still very, very janky. Get off the dang wall. Alright, you guys just move away. Stop interfering with them. Clearly they can't be trusted to get off a wall. That's too much. Heal everybody here, and buff them up, buff that charge bonus up, etc, etc. And these guys are still not fighting. Yeah, sometimes the AI doesn't feel like it really wants to work in that manner, but that's alright. And these big ones will be done for soon. Let's watch them exchange a few more blows and then head towards that barricade and archers, and we'll speed it up while we knock that one down as well. I'll never get tired of watching those Watchmen in the Night fight, though. What a great model. I'd like to see them fight like a unit of Infernal Guard with the darker armor, but the sort of glowing red sort of armor pieces like their helmets and stuff. Or Iron Sworn specifically. But anyway, those biggins are out. We're moving here now, and we should be getting that unit finally off those walls. Everybody rush that platform. Platform have a lot less HP than the barricades do, after all. 3 times as much. The enemy does get to hit us a little bit harder, but that's fine. Oh, looks like Victor Zaman has actually reached his healing cap. Well, shame for him. Can we get a few more shots from the little Groms? You know what? Screw it. Little Groms, stop firing. Go into melee. We're going to use you as single entities now. The Dwarven cannons have all run out of ammunition. We have no more spells remaining, and this is why I did want to channel with this army. It certainly could use the additional mana. You guys can take the walls, you guys stay here, sort of guard the place. You guys can still sort of fight. You are damaged, but you also have ammunition. And Wojtek's Pride and the other unit make your way forward. Ooh, the platform went down much quicker because it's a barricade. And hey, at least we're fighting in the light now. Maybe we can summon the leopard now? No, still no. Still no, game. I don't appreciate it. Let's activate that battle hymn as we rip our way through these spider riders here. I'm curious to see how the kill count is going to be on the Patriarchs versus the Druzhina after this. The Druzhina should hit considerably harder and has a, well, the armor-piercing great axe of his. Wielding it pretty adeptly with a single hand, though. But he doesn't have a bear to do the work for him like the other units do. So who would really get the most kills? All right, how are we coming in with these single entities? I did call for bears, and the bears are coming. And are you still just please? Oh, the units, the broken pathing. All right, you two being single entities can be part of Group 1 now. And ooh, hello, boar boys. Let's target you instead, and let's activate the other Wojtek's, or Torp's battle hymn, Wojtek's Pride, and the other little Grom, I mean, and can move on. And there's still plenty of boar boys to be found. You fire into the Zork Biggins as they charge on in, drop a few, and then get those great axes working. There we go. Oh my, that's, how did his head come off from a single pistol shot, I wonder? It's not like these are huge caliber pistols either. Alright, just a little bit of work for our Great Weapon Cossar, since they haven't done too much in this particular battle. Those biggins will be routing out of there shortly. Do we have any more activations? We have you, and let's activate next door's battle hymn. Well, you know what, we'll save the last Saliax Lullaby for a little bit longer as we allow our little Groms to fight. I would also like you guys, the Watchmen in the Night, to close the distance as well. The damage is, well, a lot of it's from you. Oh, we got more boar boys. Okay, you know what? You guys are hurt, but you're gonna have to move on in. These guys shouldn't be fighting the boar boys all alone. Okay, back away, back away. They're going to charge them in the back, but with more mass. No, okay, the barricade's gonna stop them. Even though it shouldn't do anything to their formation. Ah, there we go, they ignored it now. Oh, they're going to try to charge the rest of our blob in the back. I'm not sure that's a good idea, because they're going to just get, just gonna get hit from multiple sides. Alright, well, that's their problem. Anyway, let's keep on fighting. Once again, back to brawling. This particular army is a choice that we took for moving up to fight the orcs, means that we have to out-brawl the orcs constantly, although we have done a decent job of it so far. A lot of the, well, I mean, all of our armies currently function pretty differently from each other, I guess. Well, Yarogni's army is a fairly heavy brawl army, but it's very command squad centric, whereas this army very much not command squad centric. Yeah, alright, another Tor's battle hymn, please. We can use our last Saliax. Oh, we can use Ursun's Roar. Is it time for the last Saliax? I was waiting for the little Groms to be a little bit more damaged so that we can heal them up. Boar boys are taking a while to get mowed down. But we've certainly got the numbers in here now. You guys getting hit by a few of the enemy's range units. 4 Goblin Spider Riders up there. You know what? Let's start working on that barricade. It's going to take a while, but you can probably do so. Activate your ability and keep saving. Ooh, some of the Black Orcs have returned. Not many of them, mind you, so they still shouldn't be a threat, though the other units will act as their shields here. And alright, there we go. That's what I wanted. Trying to get a good angle of the boars versus the bears. Alright, once again, not much to say about this, at least not until the other barricade has been broken through. The boar boys that have charged here are still fighting, taking a while to bring them down. I guess the other units, by interfering with the Watchmen in the night, are making sure that this army kills slower than it usually does, just by virtue of the fact that it's the Watchmen in the night that usually dish out the damage. Next door's battle cam, please. At the very least, the enemy is always having a very tough time and dishing out damage as well. Watchmen in the night, not this unit, this unit. I'd like you to move forward towards the boar boys. Everybody charge forward. We'll leave one unit behind to deal with the enemy boar boys, but now they're actually broken, so it won't matter. How's the other barricade looking? Oh, it's going to take absolute ages to work our way through. You know what? Everybody, and just move on forward. These guys are a little bit damaged now. Are we ready for that final Celiax Lullaby? I'd like to use it before we take too much more damage on a few units, but I also like it. Hey, you know what? It's going to take so long to work through that. We're better off just charging everybody through this. We have no more ammunition. And I guess you guys can all be working together like this. There we go. Alright, where's that Celiax? Good. And activate the other abilities as well while we continue. But by the looks of the battle, should be just about ours. Very, very long fight, though. But hey, I like it when you have to work for your victories. And generally speaking, that's been very much the theme of this campaign, actually having to work for our wins and our territory. Bounce power's at about 90% in our favor now. I think once the orc biggins here fall, and the enemy army will be pretty much broken. Make sure that everybody attacks them. Nobody's watching our... Oh. You guys can all be part of Group 6 now. And we can tell you all to move forward. There you go. Fortunately, there's no splash damage. Oh, actually, wait. The enemy doesn't have any more towers out here, are they? I just realized. If they had like a tier 4 tower... Well, there's a tower back here. It's a tier 1, though, so no explosive damage. Okay, now we're fine. And it looks like they wasted most of their... their stuff on the barricades, which actually was a decent move in this particular case, as once again, it took so long start breaking through that. It would have gone a lot faster if we could have broken through and then moved our units over on this side as well. Anyway, you guys charge on through to those archers, activate another Tor's Battle Hymn. We can peel away a few units. All of our units are so sort of like interspersed amongst each other that it's hard to get them to surround the enemy in any way. I'm surprised the enemy error boys aren't getting feared or terrored away, though. How's our leadership looking? 74. Well, yeah, AI cheats, plus they still have their key points giving them additional leadership and stuff. Not that it's a big deal, mind you. They're not going to do too much damage to anybody here. I'd be willing to bet that your Agni's force would be able to outbrawl this quite a bit faster by the presence of the Acolytes of Ursun and the insane damage that they can deal in a brawl like this, but at the same time they're more fragile, and this army has all hybrid units, so a ton of ammunition. And the ability to do damage at range, which is going to be a lot more effective in a field battle than it is in a siege like this. Fortunately, with that, the siege ends. The Orc War Boss only sent that Black Orc Big Boss to fight us, and never bothered to show up to help his defenders. Borrowing from the Skaven a little bit, and now, what the heck? He's still fighting. That was kind of surprising. Alright, send everybody else in. Huh, interesting. Alright, well, he decided to fight for a few seconds before he wavered and decided to rout. The battle is ours with that. A few of our units certainly got damage, but, well, they took more HP damage than they took actual unit damage, and will probably heal plenty of this and be fine post-battle. Alright, hopefully that wasn't too screwy considering the desyncs that are happening for sieges, but oh well, it was a great fight. 10k damage on the two cannons, 21k on one of the little Groms, and 12k on Wojtek's Pride, the other one. A little bit more work from the little Groms than the cannons, so well done to them, though they don't have the cannons rather don't have the veterancy as yet, but still, these guys can at least fight in melee. I suppose in late game we could replace the Imperial cannons with more little Groms in this army, but I mean, I'm kind of fine with them there as well. We are occupying Grag, which means we'll take it to tier 3. Let's see, did we keep the... Nah, of course we didn't keep the gems. The one thing that we really wanted to keep here. I guess we kept the trade quorum, so there's something. But yeah, we want the income from markets increase faction-wide. As I've said in previous episodes, while Kislev has a very weak, one of the weaker starting economies, it has one of the strongest late-game economies, so we're starting to hurtle towards that now, as we get more and more buffs for our various markets and whatnot. Now, I guess we don't need the Oblast here. Yeah. We'll probably have to build either walls or just more money here. I mean, I guess walls will be necessary as inevitably Goldtooth will attack us, and there's more Grimgore territory to conquer. He's got 8 territories, huh? We're probably going to have to move up here with one army and then leave maybe Yarogni's army down here to defend. Oh, but a Yarogni's better against Chaos, but there isn't really any Chaos up here, is there? It's just Orcs. Orcs have gone all the way to the Foundry of Bones, and only Village is alive here. Oh, you guys shouldn't do this. Are you at war with Grimgore, incidentally? No, they're not. Huh. Interesting. You really shouldn't have all your armies up here when you're at war with Village and the Blessed Dread, and you could knock out the war host of Jar for good, but of course the AI won't want to do that, even if it finishes off, no wink, their enemy. Gaspar, I keep forgetting who you are. Oh, right, you're one of the defenders. You know what, I'm gonna have to rename these guys to, how about Protector? Yeah. Or, you know what, actually, more likely than not, we'll use him as a recruiter as well. Let's do recruiter. There we go, that's a long name. How about just Gaspar? Recruiter Gaspar, then we have Recruiter Talichev, and then Recruiter Nguyevic. We don't need all of them to be recruiters, but 2 of them are defenders / recruiters, so it's a little bit of a mix of what they can do. Anyway, I do believe we're good to end the turn. We get a little bit of money, but we could probably spend the next turn as well without having to worry right now. I really need you to rank up to level 12, please. Building upgrades, etc. in turn. Ooh. Devotion gained from fighting Chaos, Devotional Creed. Was there a reason why I decided to do Devotional Creed? I don't remember. Plague spreading is fine. Oh, it's because we're about to fight Epidemius and Tamarkan, and we want to avoid all that Nurgle nonsense. Otherwise, after that tech is completed, we could start moving towards the frenzy for the Warbear Riders. Global recruitment capacity is decent. Oh, mesh layers, missile resistance for everybody. Well, mostly everybody. Melee defense for Acolytes of Ursun and Zargard. Hero and Lord Recruit rank +2. Just checking out what things we have here. Or we start moving through the Erengrad stuff. Harbor? No, Port Merchants Guild will give us +30 growth faction-wide, and Pirates Weapons is a massive upgrade. 10% range for all range units. Armor-piercing missile damage for all range units. Granted only +2, but still. And reload reduction for all range units. A very strong buff. So I think Erengrad is the next thing to do, because I think it's going to be better than Prague in terms of the second tier of the buffs that we have here. Of course, we'll want everything, but frankly, our research is kind of garbage. Our research wouldn't be garbage if we could have more frost witches, frost maidens, but as you know. Anyway, let's see what the enemy's got. Looks like Goldtooth won't be attacking us this time around. Mr. Zatan will sue for peace. Sorry, Zatan, but that's not going to happen right now. Cult of Pleasure and Blessed Dread are irrelevant to us, frankly, so are the Skaven. They're all just too far away for us to concern ourselves with. Grimgore, not an army in sight attacking us. I assume it would have said something about them trespass. Well, I guess it's not trespassing, but it would probably notify us. Sword of Cain claimed by Marathi. Yeah, the elves are screwed. Look at the donut. It's all red. Marathi has the Sword of Cain and is hanging around up here. It ain't so great for him. But oh well. We'll do better in our own Elven run. Okay, so Devotional Creed now completed. We will switch to... I mean, income from ports is something. We don't have a lot of ports as yet. Ooh, Harbor Cartel gives us 10 diplomatic relations with all factions and additional range for the little Groms. You know what? Let's go Grom telemetry and then maybe Harbor Cartel or maybe through Norse Hatred into the Erengrad Code. Either way, we need to get to 5 techs here. All right. Well, still hovering a little over 10k despite building units, so that's great. We got one more turn until we can build Akshina ambushers, and you can't reach Ultra Response this turn, but that's okay. Protective Charms, or just generally head into the army. You're gonna switch to Channeling, and why are we suffering attrition here? High Chaos Corruption. Oh, damn. I wanted to channel. Are you immune to? You are not immune to. Okay, fine. Just go and camp then. We'll channel next turn, game. That's what you want. I mean, we will have to decorruptify the place anyway, which is why we kept that church, to be fair. Mother Stankia, you're ready for your Mordheim Beowulfs. There we go. Now, what you need is a second Hag Witch. Come on. Not Spirit Caller, not Griefstreak. Damn it. Yours is already a Spirit Caller, right? Yeah, I like the Spirit Callers, but we need the healing one. I mean, we could just get the Spirit Caller and then keep leveling her and transfer her to another army. It's not a bad thing. Bound, Flock of Doom, and Bleed effect. And it's a Hag Witch of, well, Hag. Yeah, fine. I mean, they're expensive, but once again, well, you know what, we will get you up and running, but we'll get you up and running at Nelfari Plain so that we don't have to make you move too far. Also, Wulfric, still have to keep an eye on you, sir. We're getting further and further away, and we'll want our defensive armies to be ready out here. You. I'm gonna head out there and head out to sea. How many more turns until Castalton is ready? He's got 1 turn. Alright, swell. Swevely. We need... Okay, so we have the 3 Bardishas plus the 2 that are coming. We need 2 more regular Streltsy and 2 Frostrooms. We'll be 1 short of building the Frostrooms. But that's okay. That's fine. Still takes a lot of money, but Castalton will be ready to fight shortly, and with the Fecondites just hanging around, but why are they doing this? They're not raising, they're not sacking, they're hanging out outside Kappelberg, which wouldn't be able to defend against a full stack. Huh. Maybe there's a programmed equilibrium in the Empire versus the Fecondites, in the sense that the Empire is unable, the AI of the Empire is unable to destroy the Fecondites for good. The Fecondites are unable to take too much Imperial territory. I wonder if that's the case. Has anybody ever seen the Fecondites' AI get really, really big? Like take tons of the Empire or move somewhere else? Or have they always just been stuck in just a relatively small area here? I'm curious about these things. Anyway, what do we have here? Oh! Huh. Will the convoy reinforce? Can convoys run? I guess we could sack and find out. Go here. I'm curious about this. Also, where did that little army go? Oh, you little... Okay. Close victory. Oh, man. Gonna take damage doing this. We will recover. But to what degree? And this guy could attack us and we can't reach him either. He's going to run back and forth like this, isn't he? I fully expect him to do that. Oh, game. Game. And we can't bait him into an ambush. How do we do this? Okay, well, we'll figure that out next time. I guess we'll have to risk auto-resolving this way. Monolith of Festrelling, what do we have in terms of defenses? Basically garbage. I'll do that between the episodes before heading northward again, because this is a waste of time. This battle's also a waste of time and being just too weak. It's mostly Marauders and basic Chaos Dwarfen troops. Maybe I'll do both of those between the episodes so we don't waste time. I'll just try to get the good battles up and running. Anyway, folks, I think with that we are pretty much at the point where we can end this episode at the very least. There doesn't look to be any more battles that can be had this turn, and so we will wait. Oh, hello, Putrid Scum. Great name, great name. I'm not being sarcastic, I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna call the episode here. Next time we'll... Do I need to do this between... Now, this one's just auto-resolvable, go. Taking Alfari plane for free, keep on leveling. And poor kitties, poor Snowy and poor Mittens. At least Dave is fine. Alright, occupy. occupy. And they heal okay, but see, you see, they're not healing enough, which is why I specifically wanted that darn hag witch with the appropriate trait, the nature spirit affinity trait. But of the hag witch hag lore. Once again, we want the hag lore because they can heal. And healing is certainly something that this army is going to need, as the things in the woods are relatively fragile. Huh. Yeah, I guess we'll get the other one temporarily, and we'll increase capacity as well, and then we'll send her somewhere else once we're able to do something with her. Alright, go here. Anyway, as I said, I'm gonna call the episode here. We'll do these little garbage battles between the episodes, and then next time try to run down Bastion Nightbane, and perhaps get close enough to Torment, the Tower of Torment, and get that, raiding up and running, and maybe try to revive Boris. It's looking like it will be a possibility, if it works, and we're all hoping that it does. Anyway, more Kislev to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.